Good evening, race fans, and welcome back to Invictus Racing League. It's time for the top tier crossplay season round 2, and we're going to Baku City for the Azerbaijan Grand Prix. My name is Webbo, joined here as ever in the comms box by our good friend, co-commentator JP. Good evening, JP.
Good evening, Webbo. How are you?
I'm good, thank you. Maybe a little bit hoarse of throat, but otherwise doing okay. So apologies if that comes across on the mic. How were the previous 2 races this week, JP? One driving, one commentating.
Action-packed, you can say, that's for certain. I mean, the Tier 2 race is to be rerun anyway. But, yeah, very action-packed, definite safe. I think so far this week we've got a 100% record of bringing Bert Mylander out in that Aston Martin safety car. So you never know with this one. It could be a similar story, but obviously this is the top tier.
It is the top tier, so we have the topmost expectations of our drivers. We have the fewest drivers as well, I think, due to our very strict entry criteria. Good evening to Daryl and to Keza, who join us so far, and everybody else who is watching live alongside the coverage. Do let us know how things are going in the live chat, and ask us questions or tell us what we're not talking about on the stream. JP, we've only had the one race, and I hope you don't mind me shooting to you for a quick championship summary, but it says only the one race is in so far.
Yeah, just the one race so far, and the nice thing about that, no stewards inquiries made last week, which was good to see. Obviously, Cameron Searle took the victory from Stinos. It was a good battle between those two. Cameron Searle drove very, very well. Our defending champion, Ghost, took 3rd place in the end. Burmeister 4th, Nathan 5th, MDJ 6th, the Speed Queen 7th, Luke Bailey 8th, Ryan Lepeven in 9th, and Reshka 10th. In terms of constructors, obviously, constructors not necessarily the same as the drivers, and it certainly isn't, because AlphaTauri and Ferrari are tied on points with 20 each. McLaren have 11 in 3rd, Mercedes have 8, Alpine 4, Williams 3, Red Bull, Alfa Romeo, Haas, and Aston Martin yet to score. Aston Martin yet to have a driver in their team. So yeah, those are the 4 teams yet to score. But the biggest thing here tonight is Simply, who drove. Is it Simply? Sorry, no, it's not Simply. I believe someone's not racing. That's normally quite quick.
Okay.
I can't remember who that is, but yeah, it'll probably come to you soon.
Excellent stuff. We've got Michael Lutker as the first car out on track. I'm not quite sure what ARL is playing at, because all of last season he was the first one out on track, and obviously didn't show last week for whatever reason, but he's also very sluggish out of the pits today, struggling, I think, to get his setup on. Let's just see who is not attending today. Nathan isn't, but neither is Daniel Rodriguez and Simply 90, as you did mention. So those drivers have definitely said they're not here. But how about a little run around this circuit, JP, on board with Michael Lutker?
See at the moment. So here we go, 6-kilometre circuit down to turn 1. Just slightly cutting. He's not got that right at all. Actually, he's got that horribly wrong as Michael, unfortunately. Into turn 2. Nicely done through turn 2 into the DRS zone. Up towards turn 3 we go. Yeah, he just went very wide and very much off throttle through turn 1. Turn 3, brake 100 metres, get it tucked in. The curb's flat on the inside, so you can use all of it, just don't hit the ball. Turn 4, a little bit more tricky because of the raised curb on the inside. Again, use all the so if you can. Up to 5 and 6, so the entry to 5 is crucial for the entry to 6. You want to keep it tight to open up 6, which is a lot tighter than it looks. 7 and up towards turn 7 is almost double apex right-hander to a degree. Tirek is tired already. Castle section time. Flick it to the left, right again. Basically straight line it. Turn 12 and Whiffins Raw on your left-hand side. I'll explain that to you in a bit, Webbo. 13 absolutely flat, as is 14 up here towards the tricky turn 15. Look out for this one. As you can see, there's already a car in the wall there.
Guessing must have been Tirac, yeah.
Yeah, very off camera, got to be careful through there. 16, important exit. Getting this exit right gives you a lot of pace down the straight. If you get it wrong, you're losing time all the way down this straight. Nicely done from Michael, actually through 18, 19, 20 inches of flick right into the DRS. There we go, and you kind of want to keep it absolutely straight. Keep yourself towards that pit wall for the shortest run to the line. And it's a 1:41.0. I suspect there's a lot more time to be had from Michael Looker there. He did, like I say, he didn't get turn one right at all.
Well, Ghost goes at 1:40.421, straight on the pace as he often is. But Reshka right up there at 40.679 as well. Ryan DePeven goes into second place, splits the McLaren reigning Constructors' Championship pairing rather than the actual Constructors' Champion. They switched out of the Alpine team last year as a pair. Luke Bailey is maybe going to be able to pick up a nice toe here, coming down the start-finish straight shortly. Just comes through the turns 18 and 19, which are easy to deal with unless you are on super low grip. Tirac is already sharing an I am stupid meme. Wrong part of the circuit, but into the pits goes the car in front of Luke Bailey on track, so he will benefit from that run of 1:42.3. I was expecting more, honestly, and MDJ is in the early part of his lap. Darrell Whiffen has already said that basically he's taught Michael Looker everything he knows tonight, and he got into the 1:39s, but I heard some mention of Whiffen's wall there, JP.
Yeah, Whiffen's wall. I'll just go with Burmeister a minute. I'll see. I think we'll finish off the first set of laps next week. I've got a few cars
no
the line. Burmeister, the first of those, followed by Cameron Searle, last week's winner. Burmeister 1:41.0, so not exactly as quick as we thought from some of these drivers. Cameron does go quickest with a 1:40.3, not at all surprising considering his form last week at China. Speed Queen, she'll be the next person to come up to the line. I think Cockbush also the last one to really set a lap. I think MJ got turn 15 away. So 1:40.0 from Speed Queen, so she's turning up tonight. That's good to see. Yeah, MJ not on a lap. Yeah, Whiffen's wall. So at the top of the castle section, obviously go 90 right, that 90 left before you go through the two flat left-handers. Darrell on Monday was leading by 5 seconds. Very
no.
He came through turn 13, hit the wall at about 10 miles an hour, and his front left wheel decided it did not want to be part of the car. And so it's forever now known as, it was also the inside wall, so it's been forever known as Whiffen's wall now. And yeah, luckily me and Bruce introduced it last night on in the tier 2 stream, and thankfully he laughs about it rather than against it.
Just watching IRL struggling around just exactly that section. So it's the final part of the castle section, is it? Whiffen's wall on the outside.
Yeah. It's the left hand, basically the last bit of that sector is called turn 12, and he actually went on the inside wall.
The inside, okay.
Yeah. He actually spun up the rears and then went in. So
IRL has got chronic understeer in the Haas at the moment. What can he do about that? Is he waiting for the track to come to him, JP, or is this a setup change needed?
Well, I mean, it's going to be very difficult to have a setup change now because he's in park-friendly regulations. You can only change that front wing.
Yeah.
You don't really want to add any more front wing round here.
No, indeed.
Only 143.4. Makes you wonder if he's maybe had a slight off and maybe damaged the rear wing or the side pods or even the underfloor. If he's damaged the underfloor, I think that's a damaged underfloor. I think
that's an unhappy car for sure. Absolutely.
Yeah, that's a typical trait of underfloor damage. That just the car not wanting to stick or grip anywhere. So he's also had an issue somewhere.
Looks like Ryan DePeven with just under 10 minutes to go in qualifying. He's out for his second run. I think the first on track for his second run. Currently fourth, the 1:40.471, and it's tight at the top. Just half a second separating the top four, but a big gap between Speed Queen and Cameron Searle. Currently nearly 4/10 of a second there, and if Speed Queen can carry that form through to the end of qualifying, wow, we're on for a really special night.
Yeah, I mean, we know how fast Speed Queen is. I mean, in all respects, I don't think she really turned up last season.
Yeah.
In that top tier, she just couldn't quite she was there or thereabouts, so just couldn't quite get that past that final hurdle. Maybe this is the start of her championship this season, especially if she can carry that form all the way through, as Ryan is about to start his second attempt.
Well, let's hope we can get a Mercedes safely through turn 1 and through turn 1 in a way that JP approves of this time round, while we join on board with Ryan DePeven. I'm just watching the live chat as well as Joe Hamster is busy chattering away.
Yeah, I think we're going to have a lot of mentions of whiffing the ball in the chat.
This was the scene of Joe Hamster's famous splitting down the middle double overtake as well around this track into this very corner. So I'm sure that's part of the reason why he's tuning in tonight. Looking fairly smooth for Ryan at the moment, JP.
Yeah, it's looking like a nice smooth lap. He's just got to making sure he hits these apexes here. He's choosing which curves to use very nicely, obviously using the flat ones more than the ridged. You've got to be careful through this turn 7 though. Very easy to pick up a corner cut. Just by being a little too far over, you can actually cut back quite a lot as we head onto turn 12. So the question is, if he can get through 15 cleanly, he's on for a good lap, I think.
Yeah, turn 15, the last major, well, penultimate major braking point with the circuit. Very clumsy looking and feeling corner, that one. Always end up out on the outside curb. Turn 16, pretty good as well. On throttle nice and early. Purple middle sector. There's just one major turn to really navigate in the final sector. It's all full throttle after turn 16. So he will stretch his way towards the line. Can he get himself higher up there than P4? Did he save the best till the second or third sector, and he gets provisional pole of 39.962. Is very, very handy indeed. Who have we got to keep an eye on next? Is it Ghost?
Stinos next across the line on 40.3. Then it's Ghost. He's just coming up the line now.
Yeah, that start-finish line very late on the start-finish straight, and you can often feel like the drivers are almost straight on the brakes again. There's a fantastic provisional time for Ghost, 1:39.527. Wow. That will take some beating. What about Reshka? Can he get closer to his teammate? No. In fact, he only got better by about 0.05 of a second. So, who else have we got on lap?
Luke Bailey does go quicker. He stays 9th, but just going to go on 41.1. Burmeister coming up to the line on 41.0.
Wow,
he
no
stays
improvement.
in 8th place.
Yeah, I'm surprised to see no improvement from there that time round. When Ghost can jump up the order by that degree, I kind of thought the track was improving dramatically. Here comes Cameron Searle then, last week's winner. He's 6th right now, and it's a 39.1, JP. 39.1 for the PC driver for AlphaTauri.
Yeah, that's a very quick time from Cameron. Yeah, he's certainly looking like the man to beat this season. Ghost and Stinos' main rivals. As we know, though, Stinos, very quick driver, but he does have some circuits where he just isn't quite as fast at compared to others. Whereas we already know Ghost is pretty quick around every circuit. So it's going to be interesting. Obviously, qualifying is one thing, obviously getting that time in, but the race is very much a different ball game in terms of how you play it in strategy.
Yeah. Speed Queen looking a little bit loose on this second lap, pushing very hard now. I thought that first time from her would be worthy of a go Speed Queen from Gam88, who we haven't heard from just yet. Speed Queen's younger sister. And out of turn 15 she goes towards the next sector, and that is, I'm getting a little touch of lag on the screen there, but she's not quicker than she has been. Oh, wow, okay.
That car's not moving very quickly.
No.
There's no hot lap using either, so she'll be coming in the pits, I think, at the end of this lap.
Is that just a miscalculation, perhaps?
I don't know, or whether she has already done her lap, maybe, and it was just a simple in-lap for her. It could just be simple as that.
Well, she's reading as 0 laps on her tyre. Well, she was, yeah, prior to that, but I thought I was looking at a hot lap. Anyway, apparently not very hot, even if it was. But Burmeister, middle of the circuit, about to finish off sector 1 at the moment. Any better from his 7th position at the moment? No, quite a bit slower.
He's on an in lap. He's not even down.
Absolutely. So
This
JSP.
is that phase, isn't it? Now?
It is.
JSP hasn't got much ERS left, so he'll be coming in. This is that phase where everyone's now coming in, getting ready for their final attempts at pole position. But it's a big gap that everyone's got to close in. I mean, nearly, what's that? That's about 3/10 of a second just over. Cameron sort of has in his pocket.
Yeah, but if Ghost can start that little bit higher than he did last race, his race pace and race management will come to the fore through this race. This is a race that very much rewards the patient and consistent driver. You don't want to be doing any heroics in this circuit because it will bite you very hard. Good evening to Gam88, who has joined us. Fantastic. Good evening to Tinus as well, who I haven't said hello to yet. The live chat is ticking away very nicely. Time to give us your pole prediction, your pole driver and or time. Cameron Sir currently holds that at 39.196, which is frighteningly quick. I don't know if anybody else can close that gap. I wonder what Ghost has got. Reshka, Ghost and Michael Lutker are out very close to one another on the circuit at the moment. Maybe a hint of potential collaboration here in the McLaren team. Or it's just a complete accident to come out of the pits quite so close to each other. Tirak having fun in the driver chat room because he's got nothing to do in qualifying at the moment. We'll start P13.
Yeah, I mean, last place on this circuit is either really nice, as Reshka lets go through. It's either going to be really nice or really horrible, because either there'll be something that happens and you miss it all, or there'll be something that happens and you don't miss it, being at the back. So it's an interesting place to be. It's not the end of the world, 13th round this round this circuit, that's for sure.
So Ghost just finishing off his outlap, I believe. He's going to lead us away.
One thing that is surprising me here, though, is how late they're deploying their hot lap on their ERS.
Right, you would be using it, you'd be mashing it out of 16, would you?
Exit of 16, we found out of 16 you can basically put on hot lap and it will do the rest of the...
Goodness me, a Ferrari sitting on the exit of turn 1 retires Ghost on his next attempt. What is Burmeister sitting there for? Because he got going again, didn't he? That was crazy. I wonder if there's some issues on his end, because Michael Lutker's just spun behind him now. And Cameron Searle on a hot lap. Let's ride with him and try and... No, starting a hot lap, I think. Let's see, now he's starting a hot lap, and many other drivers currently on out laps. Speed Queen is doing the same thing. So, yeah, I'm reading some odd things on my grid that are not really giving me the full story, but Ghost just came through that blind turn 1 and car smashed. Burmeister saying that the game reset him into that position by itself. I've not seen that before, but it would be very unlike Burmeister to make that, to do that and just hang out there voluntarily. Cameron Searle then.
That could be one for the... That'll probably end up in the streets after this, and probably be quite a long deliberation and a long night for them on that one, because that's a very weird incident. That's something, as we all know, Burmeister definitely wouldn't do on purpose.
Cameron Searle is off the pace in his first sector here. I don't know whether he decides to bail this lap or not. Let's see about Speed Queen. She is much quicker. She is 4/10 of a second, nearly 5/10 of a second faster than she's been before through sector 1. Is that taking too much out of the tyre? Well, she almost ignores the apex of turn 7 there. All very shaving the castle wall. So let's see if that is going to gain some time. Just two more braking zones here before the sector. Update.
Cameron Searle definitely way off the pace, over a second now. So I think he's made a mistake somewhere, or something. He's not happy with something in that car.
Speed Queen further gains, and she could get herself potentially up onto the front row here if she can complete this this triplicate of special sectors. Through Sector 2 she was over half a second faster, and she's only about that distance away from Ghost's P2. I don't think anyone's catching Cameron Sill by the look of things, but Speed Queen stretches for the line. She will go under the lights now and go P3, just missing out on by a matter of what, 200ths of a second from Ghost's P2. And the remaining laps, we've got Stinos, we've got one of the Haas, ARL, coming to cross the line as well, and a Red Bull. Is that Michael Lutker? He's in the pits.
Yeah, he's in the pits, yeah, because he broke the front wing because he went to the back of Burmeister at the exit turn 2. But ARL finishes. Stinos comes to the line. P4 for Stinos, so second row for the Ferrari. 139.8, so some good times. The top 5 all in the 139s, but generally speaking, even the top 10 there, only 1.5 seconds, which in this league where you have no ABS, no traction control as well. I don't know if they still have ABS or not, but they definitely don't have traction. That's not bad when you want it to be 1.5 second split.
Absolutely. Well, 4th place for Stinos, but pole goes to Cameron Sill, an untouchable in qualifying with that pace, a 139.195. And JP, feel free to take us through the rest of the grid.
So Cameron Sill takes his first pole position this season, and he's joined by Ghost alongside. Row 2 is Speed Queen and Stinos. Row 3 is Ryan and Michael Lutker. Row 4 will actually be Luke Bailey and MDJ, as Burmeister picked up a 5-place penalty for that incident. Row 5 will be Reshka, JSP. Then row 6 will be ARL and Burmeister, who will drop to 12th on the grid. And Tirak will start on his own on row number 7.
What is it about top-tier racing here at Invictus Racing League that with there just being one dominating guy at the front of the standings? I hope that that's not a portent of things to come for the remaining races of the season. Hopefully everyone else can raise their game, or we've been incredibly unfortunate to get some really, really good circuit selections for Cameron Sill. But all the same, it's not his job to slow down. It's everyone else's job to get better. Best comment so far was from Darryl Whiffen, who said, "Can't park there, sir," to Burmeister. I like that. But let's have your podium predictions as we go through our formation lap, which I think we've decided to continue with, thanks to it going pretty well.
Yeah, I mean, obviously there's been no new announcements about that, so still going ahead. The biggest question here is what tyres do you go for? Because we know Cameron, obviously at China, he opted for the alternate strategy of hards first, medium second. But obviously around Azerbaijan, you've got a high chance of an early safety car. So I'm expecting a lot of these drivers to be on the mediums, but those at the back to potentially try that alternate strategy of starting on the hards to try and gain something if the safety car doesn't come out.
I'm assuming as far as Plan A goes tonight, the soft tyres won't be in play for the drivers.
No, the softs just they wear far too quick. I mean, I think when I drove on them, I think you could do about maybe seven laps, maybe 8. If you're Speed Queen, probably 10.
Yes.
Yeah, about 7, 8-ish laps is about your maximum on those, and that's kind of pushing the grip of them just a little bit. So yeah, they shouldn't come into play. But knowing Azerbaijan, if we get some safety cars, especially if we get any late ones, there's every chance they might come into play.
And difference between the hard and between the clean and dirty side of the circuit for the getaways. Will the odd numbered drivers have a better line? I'm presuming that given the qualifying line, it would be slightly grippier.
I'm not sure. I mean, in the game, I'm not quite sure it simulates that, like as probably well as it should. I have seen a few good starts from the left-hand side of this grid, as well as the right-hand side. I think everyone's got an equal chance, but the biggest thing really with the formation lap is how you park your car on the grid, because Obviously beforehand the game would just do it for you, so everyone had the same position start in their pit box. Whereas now they have to do it themselves, which means not only do they have to get it up to the point where it flashes up purple to say, yeah, you've parked really, really well, you're going to have a slightly better advantage than if someone who parked in the green. And if you get it red, if you completely miss it, and you'll notice obviously a few people might get disqualified from the formation app for it, it actually puts you further back in the grid box, which gives you a slight disadvantage.
Wow. Yeah, and still cold tyres, or is that generally okay now?
I think generally it's been okay.
Good.
But the other strategy that comes into this now is because you can park it by yourself, drivers can now angle their car in that pit box. So it wouldn't surprise me if those on the right-hand side, as you're looking down to turn one, were actually parking their car at a slight angle towards the inside of the circuit.
Well, Speed Queen's got lots of people watching for her tonight. We've got Gam88, we've got Kevin and Kelvin all watching for him. Joe Hamster says, start at the back, stick on the softs, and then get on the hards when the inevitable first safety car comes out. That's one approach. I'd never want to gamble on a safety car, though, because that will be the time that it doesn't show up. Darryl Whiffen says, the only guarantee tonight is multiple safety cars. I don't know. I'm hopeful. I'm gonna be as hopeful as possible, because I just got done with a race that had 3 safety cars in it, and I'm a bit sick of it already. We've got the countdown to get to our grid. It's a balmy hot Azerbaijan day, and Fix in the chat says he's from Azerbaijan, so he'll be able to tell us anything about local knowledge that will help us tonight. So away from the start goes our driver's camera sail from pole position, which is the outside entry but on the racing line to turn 1. Very narrow and often a scene of start of race issues for the drivers. Let's have a little look at tyre selection, JP.
Yeah, so interesting. Cameron Searle has once again opted for the alternate strategy of hards, as has MDJ Tirak. Everyone else except one person on the mediums, and that person being Speed Queen. I mean, we joked about it earlier, getting 10 laps out of the softs. I mean, Speed Queen thinks she might be able to use those softs to good effect. Which, I mean, it's a very Speed Queen thing to do. I think it's
Speed Queen doing Speed Queen things. Yes, absolutely. And who would ever want to tell her how to go racing? Because she gets tremendous results out of what she does. But yeah, that should be very, very intriguing to watch. I wonder if it's the case that when the blankets come off, as a driver, Speed Queen is going, "Oh no, I'm the only one who's made that decision," or she's pretty happy in her own strategy. Well, we'll see.
It's either that or she's watched the other races this week and seen each one's had an early safety car, and she's thinking, if I can make up 2 places, then have a free pit stop for the hard tyres, it could be game on. I mean, one thing we need to watch out for though is turn 2, but not necessarily in the race. Actually, when people are exiting the pits, we've had a few people this week come out of the pits on cold tyres and just go straight on at turn 2. So.
Yeah, and the pit lane exit as well. It's quite tight. You can easily trip over the line there as well. Very low grip offline here. The track is it's obviously a street circuit that doesn't get the same kind of weathering and ingrained rubber on the racing line. So very hazy, hot kind of a day. In fact, it's almost low visibility when you get to the main straight. But we are about to get ready for 26 laps. This is round 2 of the Invictus Racing League top tier division. Our first foray into crossplay, and obviously we have a PC driver on top. On the pole position, who has angled his car beautifully, yeah, and I think there's a hint that the McLaren is slightly angled in the opposite direction. Speed Queen has got a disqualification from the session for bad parking as well, so that's not going to help matters. She'll lose half a metre or so, as JP was describing. The Amazon predicted strategy on screen. We'll ignore that for now, and here come the red lights, ready to get going for our race. It's time to get underway. It's drop the clutch and go, 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 and Cameron Sill, all the cars appearing quite slow away from the start, but Cameron Sill's sufficiently there, and Speed Queen right alongside, around the outside, getting good grip and straight up into P2. Ghost sensibly just maintaining that third position. Meanwhile, the Ferrari, trying to battle with the Mercedes, is actually going to lose out to the Williams behind of Luke Bailey, potentially, as they head down that medium length run towards the treacherous turn 3. It is Ryan de Pieven ahead of the Ferrari, and then the Williams holding off MDJ. A bit of a concertina effect happening at the front of the order, as the second McLaren of Reshka trying to get in the mix with the AlphaTauri of MDJ. But so far so good, JP. The front runners have made it through safely.
Yeah, as has the guys near the back. You had 2 rows of 3 heading into turn 1 then near the back, and they all got through cleanly, which is good to see. ARL has just overtaken JSP for 11th, so he's looking to move up the field. The biggest mover though is Burmeister from 12th to 9th. Michael Luck has dropped 4 places so far off the start line, so not a good getaway for the Red Bull driver.
Speed Queen is right in the wheel tracks of Cameron, who is on the hard tyres. Speed Queen on the soft tyres. It shouldn't ever be as easy as it is now for Speed Queen to really go for it, but she has to make hay while the sun shines on these soft tyres. Bounding on into the final braking point on the circuit, and it is 0.3 of a second between Cameron Sill and Speed Queen, with Ghost paying a watching brief behind. She'll get a good slipstream here, but will it be enough? Depending on the set of differences between the two cars. Sparks fly out of the back of the AlphaTauri. Speed Queen's ascendancy has stalled here. She has hit the same top speed, I think, as the AlphaTauri in front. She's going to have to wait for a better opportunity or a mistake in front, coming down into the first corner for the second time, and all the drivers line astern, and we don't have any overtaking attempts here just yet in the first 2 corners of the second lap, and so far so good for the drivers behaving themselves and all staying on the race pace.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, Speed Queen, I was expecting her to get a really good launch out of 16 then. Being on those soft compounds, they'll heat up quicker and give her better traction. So I'm very surprised she did not get a run down that main straight. But yeah, everyone keeping nice and clean so far. So I think everyone's probably watched what's happening this week and doesn't want to go out. So yeah, nice clean getaway. And I think everyone's now just kind of patiently waiting for the DRS to kick in, as TRAC and JSP swap places for 12th place.
Well, there's action at the back, but I'm trying to focus on what's going on at the front. Kind of expecting Speed Queen to do something here with the soft tyres. Joe Hamster said there's no DRS, and he thinks Cameron is running both wings below 5, so that top speed difference would cancel out the slipstream. It's not super powerful in the game in general, honestly, but Speed Queen coming out of turn 16. Of course, Cameron Sill will know where he's most likely to be vulnerable, and so will bias his ERS deployment for the exit of that corner.
Michael Looker has no front wing, and so he's now going to drop down the order and go in the pits, I suspect, this lap. So that's not good for Michael. That's especially on the basis that it's looking very nice, very clean from all the drivers. He's going to lose a lot of time here changing that front wing, and it's a little, just ever so slightly too early for the hard tyres to go to the end really from here without being near puncture territory.
Well, Burmeister moving past MDJ, and Speed Queen is staring in the mirrors here. Didn't get a good exit out of 16 and has been absolutely monstered in the mirrors by Ghost, who is starting to get a little bit impatient, showing himself in off the racing line to Speed Queen, who is unable to live at the moment with the pace of Cameron Sill in front, the PC driver, who was far and away the fastest tonight in qualifying.
Yeah, it's still side by side between Burmeister and MDJ. I think Burmeister's just about got the move done coming out of turn 4. If you head through 5 and 6, so it's a good move from him. Stinos and Luke Bailey now side by side as Luke Bailey moves into the top 5 in the Williams. Good driving by him, but yeah, Burmeister looking to try and start clawing his way back through this field.
Wow, Luke Bailey shaving the castle wall again that time. I thought we were going to have a wheel missing very quickly, but yeah, one significant problem for a driver tonight, and I was hoping that we didn't end up with a front wing on the racing line anywhere. Let's have a look at that gap at the front as they head towards the turn 16 and hit the accelerator on the way out. Speed Queen not gaining on Cameron Sill, and Ghost staying very much with her, and they will have the opportunity to use DRS. We'll wait to press that button now, and you can see he already had a top speed advantage over Speed Queen, who's clearly on the soft tyres and on a decent amount of wing on the car. Ghost goes through to second position, overtakes Speed Queen at the start of lap 4, and queuing up behind her will be Ryan de Peven next.
Yeah, it almost makes you think maybe it's almost like too hot for those soft tyres. We know they wear badly around Baku, but maybe the temperatures are not favouring her here.
Smoke agrees with you. He thinks the soft tyres have probably gone already, or they've reached the tipping point between the softs and the mediums at least. Ben says he raced Cameron Sill last season. There's absolutely no catching him now. So thanks for that, Ben. We'll try and stay interested at the battle at the front, but there's plenty to go in the midfield as well. Yeah, Ghost, our reigning champion here. Go ahead.
So Burmeister going past Luke Bailey out of turn 6. That is up towards 7. So the Ferrari up into 7th, and he is making good ground here. Burmeister. He's got Reshka now 1 second ahead. So if he can get under that 1 second, which he just has now, he's got a good chance of catching him and potentially working with his teammate of Stinos. I wouldn't be surprised if Stinos maybe allows his teammate through, because Burmeister is showing that he has got some really good, strong pace early in this race.
Absolutely, Burmeister up 5 places already in 4 laps. He is really on the comeback here from a difficult qualifying session, of course. Speed Queen is staying on the back of Ghost, and she has Ryan de Peven a similar amount of time behind, and it's very, very busy in the midfield here from 5th place Stinos, Reshka, Burmeister, Luke Bailey. Here comes Reshka with top speed. He's going to have to do this on the brakes if he does it at all. Brakes down into the apex. He's left some room at the apex, and Stinos, very generous there, JP. Couldn't close the door, but ended up running himself wide off the circuit at the exit of turn 1. And now Burmeister behind his teammate and being released immediately.
Yeah, it's good teamwork from the Ferrari. Stinos just not quite getting his braking right there. Obviously slightly put off by Reshka being there. Obviously, which is kind of the plan by Reshka there. Just hover that in the inside, make your opponent have to leave you room, and generally they leave you more room than most. So yeah, good move from Reshka. Question is now, can he keep Burmeister behind?
Yeah, and Speed Queen defending from Ryan de Peven on the way through turns 3, 4, or 5. Burmeister moving around. He's obviously really quick in unusual parts of this circuit. He's managed to make overtakes as the Williams of Luke Bailey clatters the wall on the exit of turn 7. That's not going to be any good for his front wing, or
no front wing at all.
Right, okay. So front wings 0, Baku 2 so far, as we've got ARL in P8. He's moving forward too. So lots of drivers out of position after qualifying, it seems, on their race pace, and Luke Bailey doing his best to get out of the way of everybody, but really a moving roadblock at the moment.
Yeah, I mean, if you ever want to know what driving with the 0 wing aerodynamics is on the front, this is definitely the way to find out.
Here comes Ryan against Speed Queen.
Ryan,
yeah, DRS. Before the DRS was even enabled, clearest indication yet that those softs have gone. And if we needed any further indication, Speed Queen in the pits on the end of lap 6. Start of lap 6. That's very early. Is the window open? Yeah, of course.
Burmeister was having a look. He still is having a look at Reshka up to turn 2. Thinks better of it. He's going to try and use the DRS up towards turn 3 here.
Reshka looks slow in the mid part of turn 2 as well. Ghost has retired. Ghost has retired from the session in turn 3. In turn 3, where is he? Oh dear, he's parked on the exit. So we're having
safety car.
Yeah, absolutely.
This
safety car
has almost worked perfectly for Speed Queen, but not quite.
Yes, if they were the same team, you'd be having Singapore 2008 vibes, wouldn't you? With that one.
Yeah, I mean, it's still not quite perfect for Speed Queen, because there was a long period of time where it was still green flag conditions. But
is there a chance she should be kicking herself for not putting hards on, because she's put the mediums on, so she will have to pit again. If there's a safety car now, that might stretch the hard tyre window to be possible for the end of the race, especially a driver like Speed Queen.
I mean, if I was everyone on the mediums, I'd be coming in for some hards as JSP's lost communication with the car. Yeah, I'd be coming in for hard tyres right now. They will do 20 laps quite happily.
Yeah.
So this is really not in favour for Cameron Searle.
No.
Because you can't come in for mediums at this point, and everyone behind, if they choose to pit, is about to get a free pit stop.
Yeah, and he can't really come in now unless he fancied switching to a two-stop strategy. Past the pit lane he goes. Ryan de Pieven into the pits. Yeah, indeed. What about Reshko? Yeah, it should be everybody really, I assume, apart from the hard starters. Into the pits they come. Burmeister gaining on Reshko on the way into the pits. You've got to be careful you don't have an accident from a driver not really rushing to the pits during the safety car period.
Interesting. MDJ and Tirak both started on the hards, have come in the pits now.
Wow.
So they're going to go to the mediums. I think they're going to be looking to try and utilise the mediums and maybe build a bit of a gap up.
Yeah.
JSP, I'm pretty certain he started on mediums.
That looked like either a new front wing or a front wing adjustment on Stinos' car. He was certainly held for a little bit longer, and he's lost places as a result. Cameron Searle out there at the front of this Grand Prix, the only one on old tyres. So that's an unpleasant place to be. Ryan de Pieven has been able to put the hards on. So has Reshka, Burmeister, ARL and Stinos, and Luke Bailey right now. So they should be pitted to the end if we go without a safety car to the end of this race. But Joe Hamster just asking what did Ghost do, and Ghost says he turned in too early.
It's absolutely what I thought, because the front left was missing off the car, and the only way you do that is by trying to cut the corner when there's a wall in the way.
We've got JSP asking for an invite. I don't know if you can help facilitate that. JSP 1299, but he is on PC, so I don't know if we can invite easily.
I don't. Unless if JSP sends me an EA friend request, same as my PSN, SpigH_99, I may be able to help you.
Okay, actually, do you know what? I might have requested those drivers as EA friends. So let me have a go to. Will it bring up all my friends?
He has requested me. I'll get him an invite now.
Excellent. Ghost saying he was out as soon as he touched the inside wall. So I don't know. Can't really call it Ghost's wall, can you? On the inside there at turn 3.
Technically, the entry to turn 3's name is Grosjean's, because that's where he spun under safety car.
Okay. So any we'll take nominations for what to call Reshka in the pits. Absolutely. So a quick stint on those tyres, back out again on the hards, the preferred hards for one stopping the remainder of this race. So we'll take, well, we've got the safety car, we'll take nominations for what to call turn 3 now then. Because it was the corner that made Joe Hamster famous, but I don't know about what we call turn number 3 for Ghost. AJ says, what happened there? McLaren and Ferrari just hit each other. I'm assuming that means
so
Reshka and Stinos.
No, because Stinos was behind Reshka. I wonder if Burmeister managed to get Reshka in the pit, so maybe Reshka went to the back of Burmeister, or somehow they collided otherwise, because...
Oh, that's where ARL goes, absolutely, yeah, so that would be the spot that he sought. So no further info from AJ.
Hopefully JSP has actually got an invite as well.
Yes, I think he said thank you in the driver chat, so hopefully we will get him in. 77 comments already on the video, so well done guys, keeping yourselves entertained as much as anything, which is great to see. Cameron Searle leads this race, the only driver on old tyres, on hard tyres from the start, P1, from Ryan de Pieven, Speed Queen, Burmeister, ARL, MDJ, Tirak, JSP, Stinos, and Luke Bailey, the top 10, with Reshka just stopping just now and catching the tail of the field. Michael Lutker and Ghost was our retirement. So Ghost's, that is the end of Ghost's podium streak. which is a pretty serious deal. I think it might be the longest podium streak in IRL. Certainly in the top tier, I'm almost certain. But yeah, I think it was all of last season, wasn't it? He podiumed every race.
There was one, I think France. Let me have a look, because obviously we've got archive records. And the safety car is in his lap again.
That was a pretty it was a pretty late call there from the safety car. We've got ourselves onto the start-finish line, so Cameron Searle will lead us away. He'll be hoping he's got the tyres warmed up, but he's gradually slowing the car, just lets the car catch behind, and then goes away just about, I don't know, maybe 50 metres away from the start-finish line, and they pile into turn 1. Thankfully, we are back under racing conditions. Looks like there's a Williams without a driver in it at the moment. That was JSP still waiting to join, so ghosted at the moment, but it's Cameron Searle, Ryan de Peven, Speed Queen and Burmeister. Who has been driving incredibly well, and a look down the inside of ARL from NBJ with the Alpha Tauri into turn 3. That's how you get it done. Very nice indeed. That was medium versus hard tyres. Stinos moving up past the ghost of JSP and everybody else queuing up behind, but ARL losing out there on the hard tyres, but he can afford to be patient because he's got the hard tyres fitted. It is going to be a difficult phase here for the hard tyre runners, JP.
Yeah, absolutely, and just go back on Ghost, he did not finish on the podium in France last season.
Okay, still an amazing run, the like of which I haven't seen pretty much anywhere that I commentate, so something to be proud of for Ghost. All the good things have to come to an end, unfortunately, but that was a phenomenal podium streak. Unfortunately, a no finish tonight, a DNF against Ghost's name. Cameron Searle, he's just about holding his own here, 0.8 of a second away from Ryan, who has got mirrors full of Speed Queen's Alpine. So Speed Queen on the medium gets to have a go at Ryan de Peven here. Rolls reverse this time round, and she closes in with the top speed here. Ryan de Peven moving around slightly, and it looks like Speed Queen will just edge the top speed here, heading down towards turn 1. Ryan de Peven is giving up turn 1, and Speed Queen making it through nice and smoothly. Anybody else having a look? No. It's quiet running towards the back. Burmeister right on the back, and there's contact. There's contact between the Mercedes and the Ferrari. Burmeister, he won't have much Ferrari left after the end of tonight, between accidentally parking, being nerfed in the back, and then doing the same to the Mercedes in front. That is the Mercedes spun round, able to still keep running, I think, but Ryan de Peven down into P8, and that means Burmeister up to P3 already.
Yeah, I mean, Ryan got a little bit lucky, managed to catch it just in time to only be a half spin. So he's luckily still with the pack. But yeah, Burmeister up into third. Speed Queen only 0.6 away from Cameron, and
yeah, you
have to feel both of these drivers still have one more pit stop, because or Cameron definitely has another pit stop. Has one pit stop to do. You have to feel Speed Queen with mediums probably a little too early, so she'll have a pit stop to do. But if these two can kind of run away, we could have a really tasty battle on our hands, because Speed Queen will have another set of medium tyres, I suspect, available to her.
Well, I'm tempted to think she would be eyeing up a second set of softs at the end of the race if she can't do miracles and make the tyres, these mediums, last the remainder of the race. Of course, another safety car would help her in that regard, but she is losing out top speed. There's no way she's going to get it done into turn 1. However, further back, Tirak, who crashed spectacularly out of his outlap in qualifying, is already on the ascendancy, looking at ARL's P5 and going right round the outside. ARL, with the extra speed at the apex, manages to hold on. Will Tirak come back? And he does, gets a better grip exit out of turn 1 and has the job done before the braking zone of turn 2. So Tirak up to P5, looking good for Alpine at the moment.
Yeah, but you have to look out, because they are both on medium tyres, so potentially pit stop still to come. I think the best person here at the moment is Burmeister. Obviously incidents pending. You have to feel he's had a bit of an action-packed weekend.
Certainly.
But yeah, you have to go. At present, he's the man, he's the best person here to win this race, because he's 3 seconds behind Speed Queen. If that gap gets up to around 10 seconds, which at the moment Speed Queen and Cameron are doing a nice job of building that at the moment, you have to feel if it gets around 8 to 10 seconds, it starts to swing back in their favour. Because obviously the hards will wear out, and Cameron and Speed Queen will both probably be out on either mediums or softs later this race.
Yeah, agreed. Fastest lap currently lies with Cameron Searle on his hard tyres from the start. No one putting fresher tyres on has been able to beat it. I don't think anybody's focusing on fastest laps right now. And let's just see, where is Speed Queen? I don't think I need to get nervous about her overtaking into turn 1. I think she's just going to be putting the pressure on and maybe waiting for opportunity later on. Tirac, though, from P5, looks like he's got good top speed on this Alpine against this particular AlphaTauri. Oh wow, leaves it very late to peel across the track on MDJ. MDJ didn't want to make that too easy, and he has no obligation to, but Tirac up to P4 from 13th on the grid in lap 12 only of 26. We're not even halfway through this one. We should be pitted to the end for the majority of the drivers, pending any, except for any further safety cars, but 12 drivers remain. Cameron Searle in the lead from Speed Queen, some 3 seconds to the good ahead of third
Stinos
place.
having a look at ARL. Sorry,
yeah,
Stinos had a very late look at turn 3. He's going to go around the outside of turn 4. That is a fantastic move from the Ferrari. Very well executed, and both of them on hard tyres, so that really is for net position there. ARL, I don't think he was quite expecting that from Stinos.
No, smoothly done indeed. I don't think there was any contact, and just found some sections of the mid part of this circuit where you can go two cars wide. I know Burmeister found plenty of them earlier on in the race. Speed Queen stays within that 0.4 of a second window, but just can't do anything about the top speed of the AlphaTauri, and that is one way to go racing. Oh, the AlphaTauri hits the wall. Cameron Searle hits the wall, takes off his front wing. He's got 14 laps to go in this race, so he can pit for medium tyres, but that is massive, and we could whisper it beyond for Speed Queen's first win. She does have to manage the tyres, and she'll be racing against Burmeister, but Cameron Searle with a very, very uncharacteristic error, and he's so quick without that front wing. He's caught Speed Queen before the pit lane entrance. Wow.
Yeah, if he had low downforce before, he had no downforce on that one. Yeah, that's very uncharacteristic from Cameron. I mean, it was inevitable that he was going to have to pit anyway, but not for a new front wing, and it's going to make his job a little bit harder. The question now, though, Burmeister only 1.8 behind Speed Queen. He's brought that gap down. So as we said before, Burmeister, I think, in the best seat in the house to try and win this race. He is closing that gap.
Absolutely. I mean, there were a couple of incidents last season where Burmeister came close to a podium and then unfortunately had a problem on the final lap of the race. I think they happened in close succession as well. So he did come really, really good towards the end of the season. I know he was one of the most improved drivers over season 15. And now into season 16, he's certainly up for the race tonight. He's got his tail up and he's going for it. Through the castle section they go. I would always be holding my breath through there, as MDJ only has a half-second gap to Stinos, and Cameron Searle came out plumb last in P12. What kind of a time cost will it be for a front wing change in the pits, JP?
It's about an extra 5 seconds stationary.
Right.
So from what is probably about a 23-24 second loss, goes up to about 29-30 seconds of lost time there, I think, in comparison. So not ideal for Cameron at all. And to be honest, yeah, I think he'll probably consider himself a little bit lucky. Because,
to do it within the tyre window, you think, maybe?
Well, not even that, just the fact that Reshka is making a move.
ARL is really having a bad time on these hard tyres. I bet he can't wait for a safety car to come out and get rid of them. He's just not enjoying it. He was so good on the mediums earlier on.
But this race is going to come back to him here with all those on the mediums, so that you have to think that long-term plan. But going back to Cameron, he probably has to consider himself slightly lucky, because that wall You don't normally just lose your front wing in that in that war, because I believe it was the infamous turn 15 he hit. Yeah, you normally don't just lose your front wing, you normally lose a wheel for good measure. So he's kind of gotten away with it to some degree.
Yeah, no sign of the gap increasing at the front. Now, is this Speed Queen doing Speed Queen tyre-saving miracles to try and get these mediums to the end of the race and manage the gap? Or is this the top of her pace? It looks like she might have slowed slightly, and I wonder, you know, whether she is just taking it easy on the tyres.
I mean, it's the only way she's going to win this race is to do some really heavy tyre management. Burmeister has lost a few tenths through the castle section, so...
Stinos looking at the inside. Oh, there's contact between him and the and the AlphaTauri. One of the fastest corners on the racetrack, going through turn 13 and 14. But he got away with it. Both drivers managed to keep control of the car. And Stinos with, well, I think we need to fit some cartoon karting bumpers around the outside of these Ferraris, don't you?
It's looking that way, isn't it? But Stinos has suddenly come alive, hasn't he? I mean,
absolutely.
After the safety car, he looked like he was in a lot of trouble with these hards, but it's almost like it's taken him 3-4 laps to get him heated and confident with them. But it's good to see that he's come around, and Tirak has now got issues.
Yeah, disconnected from the server, not deliberately. He hasn't retired the car. Ryan De Peven closing on an MDJ. It is very close in the midfield here, looking really racy here in the middle. Cameron Sorgo has the fastest time of 1:41.845. There were drivers in qualifying who've been quite happy with that one, and he does it on mediums. Joe Hamster says ARL, saying he doesn't like his setup. And JP, I have to say, of all the tracks in the game, this is the one where I feel drivers complain the most about surprising grip levels when they get to race day.
Yeah, it's a bit of an oddball one, but the main reason for that is so traction heavy, this circuit. And you'll notice that the limiting tyre, oh my word, Stinos has a big slide through 7, well held by the Ferrari driver. You'll find normally when we talk about the limiting tyre in F1, you're normally thinking of the fronts because of the corners. But round back of your limiting tyre is actually the rear right, because of these traction zones and because obviously being an anti-clockwise circuit, a lot of left-handers. So the rear right is the limiting tyre around here. And the grip, yeah, it's a street circuit. There isn't much grip. There isn't much grip to start with. But obviously, being an F1 car, you think, yeah, I should have loads of grip. Unfortunately, it's not always the case around here.
No, indeed, and I think you know, weather conditions have a bigger effect on track temperature and what have we. We've passed the 100th comment, which was done by Scotty, who I haven't said hello to yet. Greetings to Scotty, who I think does our graphics this season, and we've definitely taken a big step in the graphic department on the channel this season. So thanks to Scotty for joining us and contributing in the chat. Luke Bailey in 8th, just following in the wheel tracks of ARL. Was that a movement from Cameron Searle, perhaps? Passing the ghost of Tirak while he's disconnected. Hopefully Tirak will get himself back in.
And the worst part for Tirak and the JSP is we've got effectively Tirak bot and JSP bot, and unfortunately their AIs have decided they're going to come in for some new tyres.
Oh, that really hurts.
And fit the hards with JSP, so if he did manage to get back in, that's not a nice car to come back to.
Excellent. Well, Ryan De Peven is super close behind MDJ, who has gone backwards in this stint, unfortunately. So he is struggling on. He's going to try and as you said earlier, wait for the race to come to him on the hard tyres. It is a night and day, the difference in grip that the hard runners are experiencing, perhaps except for Burmeister and Stinos, who seem to be making that work really well for them. Burmeister, though, has lost a second to Speed Queen somewhere in the last one.
Yeah, and it's interesting because, just without revealing any figures, almost every driver in the pack has less than 50% of ERS. So I'm not going to disclose driver specifics, but we're gradually wearing that ERS out, and
into the pits.
Into
the pits comes MDJ. So off the mediums after only 9 laps. I'll just check to see if that is a front wing change, but that's an unusual one.
Another set of mediums on the car, so yeah, it's. I think that's a planned stop for MDJ.
Wow, 9 laps, JP, on the mediums. That's quite hard going on those tyres.
They only go about 12.
Wow.
12, 13.
So just splitting the difference on this stint, then, just trying to get a similar length out of both tyres. Got it. Okay.
Yeah, you're basically looking to. If you're having to pit again, you don't want to take the mediums so long that you lose the grip, but you also want to make sure that you put on the new tyres so that you make all of the grip last as well.
Yeah.
So it's that fine balance of making sure you don't lose grip, but then in your second stint still having all the grip and using all of the potential of the tyre. You don't want to leave any potential after the checkered flag. As ARL is slowly reeling in Reshka.
It looks like the race is starting to come to him, or at least he's got into a happy balance. He said he's not enjoying the balance tonight. Doesn't feel right today for him, but slowly but surely it's coming to him, I think. Speed Queen's lead is 2.6 seconds at the front of this one. I'm tempted to ride with her for a bit and see how she's driving the car, JP, but there's just so much action in the midfield, it's hard to take your eyes away from it. Speed Queen leads from Burmeister, Stinos, Rinderpieve and Reshka, and then on screen ARL in 6th, Luke Bailey, Michael Lutker with Cameron Searle moving his way forward, but he's got a 3-second gap to catch Michael Lutker at this stage.
Yeah, and just an update with Cameron, he's 17 seconds off the lead here, as Luke Bailey makes a move on our ARL with DRS open.
Absolutely, yeah, beat me to it. He's down the inside, gets the job done, and ARL is into or below 10% battery range. I kind of half want someone other than Burmeister to win the race, so that because I'm half expecting some sort of problem for him, but ARL, was he so slow into turn 3 that he got a nudge in the back from Michael Lutker? That was a little bit clumsy from Michael. You've always got to expect the car in front to brake to the apex of the car of the corner, and running out of room at the apex through 6th is ARL as well, so maybe being a little bit unpredictable here for the following car.
Yeah, I mean, ARL, it is clear that he is not happy with that car, and the problem is Michael behind, he's expecting everyone to have a sort of minimum speed through the corner, but if the driver ahead of you doesn't get on the throttle as quickly as you think they will be, as we have MDJ, he's gone off at after turn 3.
He has indeed, and the safety car is back out again. We don't get a notification, but you've got to look for that yellow dot. Now, what happens to everyone's strategy? Is Speed Queen able to pit early enough here?
Speed Queen surely has to pit here. She has to pit. She's got 11. She's got 10 seconds to Stinos here. Surely she's going to pit.
In she comes then. The hard runners will have a choice to make. Burmeister comes in. Burmeister comes in from the hard tyres. Stinos likewise. Wow.
I think we're going to see everyone in the pits, because the problem is, if Speed Queen back on the mediums, as is Burmeister, you do not want to get caught out on the hards and have to try and defend your position. Cameron Searle has even come in the pits. I wonder if he's going to try the soft compound. Reshka has decided to chance it on the softs, and Cameron is not. He's going back
7
on the
laps
mediums.
for the soft, so right on the outside edge of JP's prediction for workability. Those tyres, 7 laps.
But we do have at least 1 lap of safety car here, which is going to help.
True.
But Michael Lutker's taking an even bigger gamble.
Yeah, no pit stop for him, but he was quite a way down in the grid order, so he has to be passed by a lot of drivers for this to have not worked out for him, if you take my meaning. So I can see why someone would gamble at that point where he was in the race. Reshka loses some places somehow. What's Reshka doing? Reshka's gone round or caught the wall or something, coming through turn 3, which is a bit of a bogey corner for everyone tonight. And Reshka loses places, even though came out of the pits at least 2 places higher than that on soft tyres. I am getting some terrible lag, some jolting on the screen as cars move forward or backwards. I think that might be a crossplay issue, but at least it happens during the safety car, and
Yes,
it's not affecting people's races.
News from the pit lane there, and ARL apparently, I think he's running with some wing damage, because he has said that his pit crew have not changed the front wing, so he's running around with a little bit of damage. If the safety car doesn't come back in this lap, we may well see him just jump back in the pits. Maybe he might chance the softs at that point if he does do that, or he's going to try and stick with it now and just hope the grip of the tyres helps him.
Voice of authority in the live chat, Joe Hamster says that this year, if you don't say yes to the wings, they won't change the wing unless it has red damage on the car by an auto decision. So you have to manually say yes. But yeah, wow. So what about the finish of this race? We've got Michael Lutker at the front. I can't see him holding on to that. Speed Queen versus Burmeister will be a clean fight on the same tyres. Well, the top 5 or 6. Who's that? ARL in the pits for that second, for that front wing change. Might be tempted on some softs as well, potentially.
I would be.
Yes.
Yes,
nothing to lose now.
Already.
Tremendous. Okay, so we might see some fireworks from the soft runners, P11 ARL and P8 Reshka, but it's all to play for at the front of this one. Speed Queen, Burmeister, Ryan de Pieven and Stinos. Stinos presumably had to wait to be serviced in the pits, and Ryan Pieven got through because the Ferraris were together, but we could have a double Ferrari podium here. Michael Lutker could perform a miracle. Speed Queen has been waiting an absolute age. My entire tenure with IRL, I have not seen a Speed Queen win, so that would be something special.
Yeah, I mean, the critical thing here is Michael Lutker, weirdly enough, for the win of this race, because if Speed Queen can't dispatch of Michael Lutker quickly, there's every chance Burmeister will look for the opportunity himself. So Speed Queen has to get past Michael Lutker as quickly as she can. But the biggest problem everyone has at the moment is this has brought Cameron Stoll right back into the frame.
Ah, yes.
Not necessarily for the win, but I think we could see him get up into the top 5.
So a 6-lap run then to the flag for our drivers, who are all on fresh tyres with the exception of JSP's Ghost and Michael Lutker at the head of the field. Mouth-watering prospect. I hope we get a clean 6 laps and we don't have another safety car, but let's keep our fingers crossed. Ghost says go Speed Queen. Darryl Whiffen said, did I just say Speed Queen hasn't won before? All I have said is she hasn't won during my tenure, which is 4 consecutive seasons. It's been a long wait if she has won before. I'm fairly sure she has, but it has been a long old time. And she said to me at the end of last season, stop asking whether she'll win, because she doesn't think it's on the cards ever on the current form. But she's come back to Baku and with some tremendous form. Qualifying 3rd, she was very quick on the first stint in qualifying. Let's see what she can do versus Burmeister. Of course, an asterisk by Burmeister tonight.
But Michael Lutker really not going to go until the line, I don't think. He is backing everyone up. This is proper Max Verstappen style, and he's in a Red Bull for good measure. And now he gets going for the restarts. But Speed Queen right with him. Speed Queen might have a look
Brian
here.
de Pieven as well. Will Speed Queen go for it? She's down the inside. She's having a sort of half-hearted look, but Stinos, nothing half-hearted about that move. Side by side goes 2nd, 3rd, 4th, and Stinos right up there with Burmeister. Could he actually undo Burmeister's race here by being over greedy? A big step out from the Red Bull there on the exit. It's Michael Lutker, absolute moving roadblock in the order. He's lost 4 or 5 places as there's contact, and it's Ryan Pieven spinning. It's the Williams. It's lots of drivers having contact. It is a driver out.
Lutker's back round.
So will we end up seeing another safety car, I wonder, or will hopefully the field be cleared by the time they get there? That is heartbreaking for Ryan de Pieven. Speed Queen at the head of the field. How does she get back past Burmeister in that melee through turns 3 and 4? Tremendous stuff. Cameron in P4 points out smoke. That's pretty huge. as he's going to move forward as well. No further safety car. Green flag, just a single mini sector yellow, and the car has been cleared, so we're clear to keep racing. Speed Queen at the head of the field, but we know her top speed isn't amazing tonight. 148 comments so far. And there is Gam88 cheering on her sister. Let's see, I imagine most neutrals in the crowd will be cheering for Speed Queen as well as she rounds out of turn 16. She has got 5 laps to hold on to this one. Let's see what Burmeister can do. He is not able to use DRS, but he's got a great slipstream already. Will the VMAX equalise? Speed Queen holding the middle of the road, not committing, going left. Burmeister forced the long way round the outside. He will be able to sweep round, and he leaves room at the apex, but Speed Queen may have the opportunity to get back at him, but not quite. So he takes the lead on lap 22. We've got a real humdinger between the top 3 here. Speed Queen and a Ferrari sandwich, and she gets a good slipstream on the Ferrari going down into turn 3. Not quite enough room. She decides to keep it calm, as unlike me, I guess, Michael Lucker retires in the pits, JP. But this top 3 looking really good here.
Yeah, and just looking at ERS stats, Stinos is in the best place right now in terms of ERS, which is crucial down that main straight. Yeah, that's just Michael Lucker retiring, which is a shame for Michael. I mean, if he just continued on, he had guaranteed points here tonight, so big shame. But yeah, Speed Queen all over the back of Burmeister, just looking to force an error or just stay in his slipstream. But is Speed Queen now kind of half waiting for the DRS to arrive, which will be at the start of the next lap?
It will. She needs it for the top speed as well. Stinos moving around all over the place behind Speed Queen. She is the Alpine meat in a Ferrari sandwich at the moment. And I can't keep up with the live chat. I have to call what's going on screen. It's looking amazing here. The last few laps of our Baku Grand Prix. Go ahead.
Look in the background.
Here comes Speed Queen though. Good top speed at this stage. I don't know if she'll be able to get into the braking zone. Stinos versus Speed Queen. She gives him the inside, and she loses that's first place and second place to Ferraris on consecutive trips through turn 1. It's not working out. She needs that DRS in a big way down this next straight, but Cameron looms behind them, which I think is what JP was alluding to.
Yeah, look at the background. That Alpha Tower he is catching, and he is catching at a rapid rate. So Cameron Searle, can he do what we thought was impossible earlier this race, which is to come back and win the Azerbaijan Grand Prix? He's now on the back of Speed Queen, so we have a 4-way fight for this lead.
I don't think we officially ruled it out, but yes, it did look very, very unlikely. The second safety car though has absolutely has come on fantastically timed for him. Great camera angle through the castle section there we suddenly got on the stream, and they go formation flying through there. There's no way to get a pass done, but Cameron is right behind Speed Queen. That is huge. We don't know whether there will be steward inquiries on Burmeister after multiple incidents through the entire evening so far, but Speed Queen is slow towards turn 16. Is she saving her ERS here, or is she going to be vulnerable to Cameron Sill, who we know probably has the top speed to pass all 3 of the cars in front of him? Very straightforward. It is lap 23, about to be lap 24. The camera shakes as the cars go through turn 19, and here comes Cameron on Speed Queen. She struggled to stay with him. He's easily passing before the DRS line even, and Speed Queen demoted to 4th position. I imagine now all she can hope for is that there's fireworks in front, either the Ferraris getting in each other's way or possibly Cameron coming through, and one of them defending too hard. It is Burmeister, Stinos, Cameron Searle and Speed Queen, your top 4, far and away faster than anybody else here tonight. Speed Queen coming back at Cameron, or trying to, but she's got no ERS and no actual profit on the DRS situation in front either.
Reshka off at turn 2.
Oh dear, okay.
Luckily I don't think he's hit the wall, but he's not lost a place either.
It's vital for Burmeister, I think, to keep Stinos in his DRS zone. and at a comfortable distance, because that means that Cameron and Speed Queen don't have the ability to pass Stinos and come towards him. I'm not sure anyone is really thinking all that clearly at this stage. It's just next corner, next corner, next corner to the end of the race. There is a yellow flag for the stranded car on the exit of turn 2, but he's back up and running, and we've got a green flag racetrack once again. Just over a second separating the top 4 drivers here with just over 2 laps to go. Stinos getting a little bit loose coming out of turn 15, I think that was, but he tends to drive a fairly loose oversteery car, does Stinos. He just tends to be his style. It looks spectacular.
Yeah, no, absolutely. The question is, Stinos right behind Burmeister. Are we going to see a swap for the lead here?
Well, it's looking pretty likely. Burmeister not fighting it. So down the inside goes Stinos. Burmeister very keen not to lose any time through here, and he gets a really good drive through turn 1. I think he'll be fancying a run back at his teammate down the short straight here to turn 3. He's lost a little bit of time going through turn 2, and Cameron is right with him. Burmeister peels to the inside, not to make a move, but to defend. Oh, Cameron
in the wall.
Cameron did touch the wall, but not in too bad a way. And Speed Queen trying to get alongside, but Cameron holds her off, holds the inside. That could gift this race to the Ferraris, that moment.
Yeah, I mean, that was initially helped by Stinos for Cameron, because Stinos ran a little bit deep into turn 1, which held Burmeister up. It was good defending from Burmeister. He gave Cameron literally just a car's width to the wall, which is all you need to give in F1. So it was good defending by him. I think Reshka has spun once again, this time at turn 4.
Okay, well, we're trying to focus on the battle for the front here. Now, Burmeister is under a second behind his teammate. This is his opportunity now to pass Stinos, while Cameron Searle hasn't got DRS on the back of him. This is his cleanest opportunity yet, JP.
Yeah, absolutely. Burmeister really, I mean, this really, if he can do it here, he's 7/10 behind. I think that might be too much for him.
Maybe into 3, but it's the final lap of the race, and it has just stretched out. That little bit of contact perhaps between Burr and Cameron may have settled this one for Stinos. They will, of course, go at it down this little straight here between turns 2 and turn 3, but again, very far away here comparatively, as Speed Queen has DRS and Cameron just using the middle of the road. He's entitled to choose his own line into the corner there, as long as he doesn't change it, and he didn't. Driving very professionally, but that won't be any comfort to Speed Queen, who's desperate to get back onto this podium, I'm sure. Burmeister is 6/10 away from his teammate. Any chance of a drag to the finish with ERS, do you think, JP?
Well, that's the question. I think Stinos is in a better position than Burmeister. Equal for Cameron Speaking, obviously, apart from the winning situation.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think Stinos should probably have this. And I think Luke Bailey's got past Reshka because Reshka's come back off the road again. But anyway, back to the front. Through the difficult turn 15, yeah, I think Stinos should have this. I mean, he's got the ERS available to him. He should basically be able to come out of this corner, whack it on, and just go, I'm going, which he
there he is.
Done briefly.
There he is indeed. Speed Queen is using everything she's got at the end of this race. She will try her level best to get up. She could end up on the podium after post-race penalties, but Stinos will approach the start-finish line for the checkered flag and win in Baku. Stinos wins round 2 for Ferrari. Second place provisionally, Burmeister for Ferrari 2. Cameron Searle from pole back to third again in the AlphaTauri, and Speed Queen, what could have been, finishes just 4/10 away from the podium. ARL, the race did come to ARL in the end, and he got 5th. Tirak from the back as well into 6th place, I believe it will be. JSP probably won't count because it's a Ghost, and Reshka might actually get
Reshka and
7th
Luke
place
Bailey
out of
actually
this
having
one.
yeah, they're having a little bit of battle here for what is effectively going to be 7th.
And no
Reshka's
penalties
got
on the cards either at the end of this
no.
race.
The only problem for Reshka, he's got no left end plate. I think Luke Bailey might actually be the same as well, so they're pretty equal on. Well, no, I don't know. Luke Bailey does have an end plate, but he's going to have DRS here. With ERS, Reshka's got more ERS, but DRS advantage to Luke Bailey. Can he get alongside? The answer is no.
Oh, that's
It's
pretty close. That is close. Reshka, though, gets what will be 7th place in the end. Wow, what a finish. Yeah, that is a tough one. We are hoping to speak to our podium, and they know their way to the commentary box by now, I think. But we'll see the actual podium celebration. It was Stinos who wins, who did push Ghost very close several times last season. So no big surprise to see Stinos there. But Burmeister will be a little bit miffed he couldn't get the win in the end. And I imagine Cameron Searle probably a little bit cross with himself for the mistake that cost him the win easily. And Speed Queen be she came as close as I have seen her come to the podium to a potential win as well. What could have been tonight, but let's give it up for Stinos, who sprays the champagne with his teammate on the podium. 190 comments. We can top 200 by the time we finish the stream. Remember, as usual, if you have a question for one of our podium scorers, to drop it in the live chat, and if it's nice and kind, we might even ask it. JP, fastest lap and the final grid.
So, Stinos takes his first victory of this season, followed by his teammate Burmeister. A great result for the Ferrari team, who were joint top in the Constructors going into tonight, will definitely be top on the way out. Cameron Searle will take the final podium spot with fastest lap of a 1:41.845. Speed Queen 4th, ARL 5th, Tirac 6th. Reshka will be 7th with Luke Bailey in 8th. JSP unfortunately had a disconnection, along with Michael Lutker, Ryan, MDJ and Ghost all retiring. And a little fun fact for you, Evo, that 1:41.845 is quicker than the current race lap record set by Charles Leclerc of a 1:43.009.
Fantastic.
Set in 2019, so I think Cameron will be very happy with that lap.
Brilliant. Excellent stuff. There's a few accusations running around in the chat here, but I won't dignify those at this stage. Not in the live YouTube chat, but in the driver room. There's a few drivers hot under the collar. We're going to try and speak to our podium briefly, if we can, because it was a pretty long race there, 49 minutes overall. Stinos, Burmeister, Cameron Searle hopefully are on their way by audio.
I know Stinos, I believe, Mike, not working, so I believe he won't be joining.
Well, so far he said that he didn't know how he won it, but thanks everyone. He didn't know that Ryan and he had contact. He's assuming not, and he's asking Cameron Searle if he had wing damage near the end. So we can put those questions. If Burr and Cameron come to the commentary box, then we can do it. If not, we'll have an early night. But JP, how was that for you? I hope you were enjoying it. Any standout performances, maybe further back, that we haven't really talked enough about?
I mean, ARL, you have to give it to him. I mean, he had a car he just didn't enjoy.
Yeah.
You know, and to keep it on the road and to have the mindset of let's just get to the end. He's picked up a fantastic top 5 from something that I suspect he thought maybe low-end top 10 was probably his best bet. So, and the game gave him drive of the day as well, so I think it's a very well-deserved drive that from ARL. To drive a car that you don't enjoy to 5th, that's a very good achievement. Yeah,
agreed. I think I'm probably going to give my drive of the day to Tirac. 13th up to I think it was 6th. But up from the back of the grid, had a nightmare qualifying, but it came good in the end. Any sign of any of our drivers coming to the press conference, JP, yet?
I've just put a message just to see if anyone is on the way, so we shall see shortly. Here is Cameron.
Here is Bert. and Cameron. Excellent stuff. So I know we're not going to hear from Burr's teammate Stinos, who won in the end. But Burmeister, a 1-2 for Ferrari. You must be thrilled. I can hear you. I will check the stream. I can hear you. I will check the stream. Oh yeah, no, you're going to have to share it. We can't hear you yet on the stream. Let's wait and see.
Yeah, you can now, I think.
Just a second.
You should hear me now, I think.
There, yeah, but now we've got you. Congratulations, a 1-2 for Ferrari. How was it tonight? You must be very pleased with that overall.
Yeah, I'm very pleased, but in the end, people in the chat are already complaining about me being ridiculous and shit. So they want to take away probably my P2, but I only have one message for those people: just try and keep up with us, and then start talking instead of blaming other people and not race.
It was certainly eventful. I imagine your Ferrari had a lot less red paint on it than when it started the race. Or at least the session. Talk us through what happened in that qualifying, because we know that you wouldn't have done that deliberately, but some issue with the reset?
No, I had to be quick because I was pretty late with my last run, so I had to be quick, and I was a little too early on the throttle coming out of the pits, and then it spun. Yeah. And then it resetted me on the outside of turn 1, and then I was just thinking, what the fuck is happening? And then I saw it was ghosted. And I thought, oh, well, let's stay here while it's ghosted, because I saw people coming already, so I thought they could drive through me, because otherwise with the cold tires, yeah, what would have happened if I start spinning there? I think maybe it stopped ghosting or something then. And that's why I stayed there. It could be a bad decision in the end, but unfortunately, it was never my intention. All the people who know me know I'm not that kind of race driver.
Absolutely. JP, if you have any questions for Burr, I'll just apologise for Burr's language. He is Dutch, so give some allowances, but we apologise if anyone is offended. JP.
Yeah, obviously at the end, obviously Stinos got past you using DRS. Was your plan just to work with him towards the end, or because it looked like you kind of just obviously allowed him through because there was no point really fighting him, but were you then looking to get back past him at the end, or just work with him and take a safe 1-2?
Well, I think his ID and my ID, we helped each other quite a few times in the race. We came together in the beginning, he let me through. And then afterwards, also with the fight with Speed Queen, we did that really well to box her in at the right moments and to brake a little later. So we really helped each other through the race. So I don't really mind. He overtook me in the end, and I was also low on ERS because I had to drag the train for like I think 8 laps or something. So yeah, I was pretty happy, and I knew he would drag me also and keep me in DRS. So then we would be a sure P1 and 2. So that was, yeah, I was quite okay with this.
Well, congratulations on a 1-2 for the team. I'll go over to Cameron now. Cameron, welcome to the commentary booth for the press conference here. We didn't get to talk to you last week, so we're going to have to do a double interview based off 2 races. Of course, you won the first race, and you managed to get that battered and bruised AlphaTauri back up to the podium. How was that for you? That must have been a pretty stressful evening.
Yeah, that was a lot of work. I will say, you're testing my memory of last week, but yeah, no, the race just fell apart halfway through with that safety car. A little bit of damage just after the restart.
If you can hold your mic a little bit closer to your mouth, I think we're just getting a little bit of interference across platform.
I can change headphones if need be. Yeah, it just fell apart a little bit in the second half of that race.
Yeah.
And then just got squeezed out onto the curb, which meant I couldn't turn at turn 3 whilst racing Bert, and picked up damage again at the end, which sort of halted any attack on Stinos.
Absolutely, but you've joined the league and you've got a blistering pace. It's pretty frightening, obviously, for the rest of our drivers. Can you give them any hope for the remaining calendar? Have we just looked into fantastic tracks for you, or is this a sign of things to come?
Azerbaijan's pretty good, but no, China's actually one of my worst.
I love it. I love it.
That track, but no, this was one of my good runs, and I wish I could have won it. But congrats to Stinos.
Yeah, well played to you. JP, any last question for Cameron?
Yeah, what was the thoughts going through your head when that last safety car suddenly came out? Because obviously you made an unforced error down at turn 15 to knock your front wing off. You must have been, at that point, you were probably thinking this hasn't gone very well. And then obviously that last safety car came out. I mean, what was going through your mind? Because obviously everyone was going to pit along with yourself.
Yeah, it was a bit of both, because, I mean, for the first bit, it was my teammate, unfortunately, which lost us 3 points today. But, no, it just sort of levelled the playing field, I think, for the last bit. And I knew I was almost running 0-0 wings, so I was able to get back through the pack pretty quickly, and then just head up to the front.
Yeah, it's a trick that Ghost pulled in winning the championship in season 15 last season. Was running absolute minimal wings to try and defend the lead, but it's obviously working well for you this season as well. Congratulations, Cameron, on 2 very good races. Very entertaining this time. I hope you can make it just as entertaining in future races. I'm sure you would rather not, but it's good for us. And thanks to everybody else. We've probably reached about the end of time tonight for the coverage, but a lot of fun we've had with all the audience and all the drivers as well. So thanks to you all for what chat you've left. Thanks for liking the video on your way out and for following the channel. But from me, Webbo, from JP in the comms box, and from everybody here at the top tier of racing at Invictus Racing League, thank you for watching. Tune in tomorrow for realistic performance, and we will catch you on the next race day.